Positive way, hey, positive way.
The crowds, the size of the school, their fancy uniforms. And remember what got you. Focus on the fundamentals that we've gone over time and time again. And most important, don't get caught up thinking about winning or losing this game. If you put your effort, concentration into playing to your potential, to be the best that you can be, I don't care what the scoreboard says at the end of the game, in my book, we're going to be winners.
This is the New Hampshire High School Basketball Show.
This is a second coming. This is a call to arms. Your finest hour won't be wasted.
The New Hampshire High School Basketball Show is brought to you by the New Hampshire State Liquor Commission's Division of Enforcement.
Right now, it's not about talent, it's about heart. It's about who can go out there and play the hardest, who can go out there and play the smartest. Now, they've been here before, so they're not going to give it to us. We got to go out there and we got to take it.
And now your hosts, Pete Terrier.
But I have a question, though. Those two foul shots, the end of the game, did you miss them? Or did you miss them?
Not exactly a shoot question, is it?
And Dave Haley from NHSportsPage.com.
All season long, we played our game. Right now, you're playing theirs. When we step on the floor, every second that clock is ticking, we are pedal to the metal. We run the ball. We pressure the ball. And most importantly, we control the tempo of the game.
Good morning and welcome to our final regular season edition of the New Hampshire High School Hoop Show. Where did the season go? We do it live on the radio each and every Saturday morning during basketball season. Two fine stations here in New Hampshire. The legendary News Radio 610 WGIR in and around the Manchester area, and also that Seacoast signal for you. News Radio 96.7 out in Dave Haley country. Dave Haley from NHSportsPage.com in studio. Our bracketology edition of the program. We actually got two bracketology editions. Today we will cover Division III and Division IV boys basketball. Try and map out the tournament before the pairings are announced by the NHIAA, probably on Monday when that comes out. And we've got a couple bracketologists ready to join us on the program. Dave, you gone to the well, and let's see who you got. Who did you get to do this for us today?
We got Sam Natty coming on, probably. Sam Natty with his record-breaking third appearance on the show this season, breaking Matt Regan's record of 2 appearances last year. And then we got Dave Chase. We'll do Division III from Hopkinton. Dave Chase, who does it for us every year. I'm looking at that.
He's got a job.
He's got a lot. We put him to work. I got to write previews for every single tournament game, so I cannot afford to wait until the NHIAA gets up on Monday morning, has their coffee, has a bagel, and then puts out the standings. I mean the pairings. We got to do it now.
It's a 6-way tie for starting at the first 2 seeds. I can do that. You got Pelham number 1 in D3. You got Berlin number 2. But then when it gets down to the number 3 spot, 6 teams, including your Guilford Golden Eagles, tied at 14-4.
That's right.
Conant, Campbell, Guilford, Messinic, Newport, Winnisquam, all 14-4. Dave Chase, good luck to you, buddy.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. Well, why don't we get to the scoreboard? There were games in just 3 divisions. Division 4 was wrapped up earlier in the week. But you had games in D1, D2, and D3. So for our scoreboard, brought to you by our friends at the New Hampshire State Liquor Commission, the Division of Enforcement, and that Buyers Beware campaign reminding all adults it's against the law to provide alcohol to minors, even if you get a better seed based on a 6-way tiebreak. Don't go out and celebrate with a bottle or pop up some champagne. It's against the law. You can't do it. Here's the scoreboard.
Division 1, we'll start Division 1. Bedford 61-44 over BG. Ryan Hughes and Colby Gendron with a nice night for Bedford. They're playing better basketball right now, and they beat BG. I was looking at the box score for BG. They got a lot of new names, like kids that, a couple kids, Chad Oliveri didn't play, and, we got to check out BG because I think they kind of got kids coming and going. Spalding 61-27 win over Concord. Spalding had to go back-to-back. They played Trinity on Thursday afternoon, beat them in overtime, and then had to come back and beat Concord 61-27. A lot of teams you're going to see in this scoreboard were affected by the fact that they had to play 3 games in 1 week. Some are playing, back-to-back nights because of all the cancellations. Keene, 57-50 over Pete Terrier's alma mater.
Come on, guys.
Joshua South.
Come on.
What's going on? Keene is comfortably, when have we ever said this before, comfortably in the tournament this
year. They got, 6 wins now?
Yeah.
Gee.
Dave Sontag. Londonderry remains undefeated, 79-50 over a very good Nashua North team.
A very good Nashua North team?
Very improved.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm excited this morning. That's a little
very
better.
Competitive, except for last night.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna break character right now. There's a big scoreboard here. There's only one score that I want to get to. I'm just waiting to get to it.
And that's in Division 3.
And I might break the microphone when I yell that loud. Merrimack, 48-37 over Memorial. This was a rock fight last night. Austin Franzen with 18 points. I saw the beginnings of the highlights on nhsportspage.com. The great John Kesty and Pete Terrier at their 4th game in 5 nights. We covered all 4 divisions in a row. Division 4, Division 3, Division 2, and then Division 1. You would think that it kind of almost looks like we know what we're doing when we do stuff like that.
Well, editor's note, I should say. John Kesty covered 4 games. I was only at 3 of them. I did not do the Sunapee Dairyfield game.
Oh, yeah, Mike Pizzone.
That was Mike Pizzone on Monday night.
That's right. Well, we covered 4 games in 5 nights. The great John Kesty is had a busy week. So, how many points did Trayvon Mon ended up with?
3.
3 points.
Yeah, he did play in that game that Memorial scored 37. So did Kabongo. I mean, they had the full complement last night, but they weren't clicking.
They were not clicking last night. We'll get back to them. Pembroke with a 57-44 win over Alvern. Connor Boucher with a career high, I think, 20 points. Dominic Timbus with 17. He's been solid all year. 57-44. Alvern is kind of reeling right now.
They went the other way this year. They usually start off bad and then roll towards the end. This year they started off great and then kind of sputtered at the end.
They're struggling to score. 44 points, not a lot for them. Pinkerton without Geo Baker. What's going on with Geo Baker?
I do not know.
He hasn't played like 4 or 5 games in a row, but they're playing fine without him. 66-47 win over Exeter. A good W there for Pinkerton. Matt Rizzo, I think 16 points. I believe he led them in scoring. Dover with a 71-62 win over Salem. I want to see Dover get in the tournament because I think Romps' team is playing hard, and I'd like to see them kind of give somebody a test in the first round.
It's kind of hard not to make the tournament when there's only, I think, 17 teams in the league, right?
Yeah.
And one of them is Concord, who hasn't won a game.
I think there's more than I thought there was a couple teams that don't make it, no?
I'll have to look at that.
I got the D4 standard from me. All right, we got a lot going on here. I'm sorry. Manchester Central rolls along 55-40 over Jay McKenna's Winnacunnet team. Central with the W there. Getting to Division 2 in a game that before the final score even came out, before they were even losing, I called the mother of all trap games. Wyndham 49, Portsmouth 40. No longer undefeated. So Jim Mulvey's team played Goffstown at home on Monday. They played at Bishop Brady, which has over 800 views now on YouTube. Just a tremendous game. If you haven't seen that yet, go check it out on nhsportspage.com. It was unbelievable. 27 minutes long, that highlight package is, but I mean, it
was overtime. So.
Doesn't drag one bit. It was unbelievable. And then you got to play at Wyndham, a talented Wyndham team who Portsmouth beat fairly easily early in the season. Wyndham wins that game. David Carbonello and Wyndham. Congratulations to Todd Stefanides. Nice W there. Cole Brown comes back and beats Kennett in a very big game, 52-45. Cole Brown solidly is a top 8 team right now, trying to move up as they head into their last week. Lebanon all over Conval, 68-35. KJ Matty with another big game for them. Bishop Brady bounces back with an 80-73 win over Goffstown. Boy, Brendan Johnson's gotten better, huh?
He's got 1,000 points now.
He's got 1,000
points. He hit 1,000 last night.
Hit 1,000 last night. We have just an explosion of 1,000-point scores all over the state. They're popping up everywhere. I can't wait to get to Dylan Dow from Interlakes. It's such a good story. Souhegan 56-44 over Hollis Brookline. Merrimack Valley in a game that I previewed with a good win, 56-52 over Milford. That's a key win for Merrimack Valley. Keeps them in the top 5. Timberlane's on a roll. Someone break up Timberlane. They shouldn't be in Division 2. It's not fair. The Timberlane's in Division 2. It's not fair. They have more kids. It isn't fair. 71-57. It's a play on the Pelham
3
thing.
wins.
You like to see what I did there with the Pelham thing?
Yes.
Kind of funny?
Yes.
71-57 win over Oyster River. Timberlane with the win there. Here we go, folks. 77-55. Guilford over Winnisquam. Drop Mike, walk off stage. Goodbye. Good night, everybody. The Golden Eagles, 24 points in the second quarter. Caleb Orton with 15. Oliver Roy with 15. all over Christian Serrano, who scored 1,000 points the other night. 8 points for Christian Serrano in Winnisquam, but Guilford, the alma mater, I'm going there Thursday night for the first round. The great John Kesty will be joining me. The Golden Eagles, we'll get back to them. We're going to spend the better part of an hour talking about Guilford.
77-58, by the way.
I have 77-55.
Well, I wrote the scores.
Don't you dare give away 3 points.
77-58 is what I wrote.
I don't believe it until I see it.
You're reading it wrong.
White Mountains beat Belmont. Hey, White Mountains won a game. 55-48, White Mountains over Belmont. Campbell, Zach Bergen had a big game. Filling up stats last night. I think he had 17. 57-46. Campbell beats Bo. That's a solid Bo team.
So on Bergen, his dad told me that he was 39 away from 1,000 heading into last night's game. So now, what do you say?
17, I think
so. He's within 25, 22,
Man,
or whatever.
all these kids getting 1,000. So Fall Mountain with a 54-33 win over Monadnock. Berlin wraps up the number 2 seed with a win over a good Farmington team, 64-49. Berlin with the W there. Franklin behind Kenny Torres, I think had 19 points. Kenny Torres and Franklin with an 81-62 win over Newfoundland. We're going to see where Franklin falls in the tournament. Interlakes, this is the story we were talking about before we went on there. Interlakes with a 50-48 win over Laconia. Dylan Dow leading the way last night with 17 points for Interlakes. 19 points, and Laconia put a box and 1 on him. So Dylan Dow, Interlakes is trying to make the tournament. They had to win 5 of their last 7 games to get in. They're going to get in. I think there's 20 teams that make it in that division. Dylan Dow finished last night with 998 points. So if they didn't make the tournament, he was going to finish his career 1 basket short of 1,000.
That's a killer.
But they're getting in the tournament, and dare I say, Dylan Dow will score a basket in that game and get his 1,000-point in a playoff game, which is always like an awkward thing during a playoff game because it's like you want to move along.
Remember that UConn women's player who I think was Nikisha Sales?
Yes.
I'm guessing, and she was injured.
It was the knee,
and she was 2 points away from 1,000 for her career.
Yeah, and they let her score.
They put her out there like incapacitated on the floor with like the huge brace or whatever. She was technically on the injured reserve list, if you will, if they have that in college. And the other team agreed to it, and they let her score the basket off of the tip.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I remember that.
To me, I don't want it. If I have to do that, I don't want it.
The last kid I can remember who scored 1,000 in a playoff game was Eric Dean at Guilford. They were in the quarterfinals against Campbell. My first year doing this website when I didn't even know Pete Terry or John Kesty, believe it or not. I was doing all by my lonesome. He scored 1,000. I remember he was just like, "Can we just move along?" Like, there was no ceremony. He was like, "Let's get going." So Dylan Dow will get his 1,000-point next week. So congratulations to him. Hopkinton, Dave Chase. We like happy coaches coming on our show. 39-37 win over Mascoma. I said it. Mascoma can't score. And they couldn't score last night, too. That's kind of been their issue. Newport, 84-60 win over Stevens. Spencer Coronis scored his 1,000th career point. Spencer Coronis is one of the nicest kids.
Yeah.
Just a really nice kid. I saw Mike Pizzone tweet something out saying, been a pleasure to cover this kid. He is a really nice kid. So we're really happy for Spencer. So he and Andrew Hood, 2,000-point scores. Andrew Hood had like 1,700 points, something ridiculous. Actually, Mike Pizzone, by the way, is going to do a feature story on Andrew Hood on NH Sports page for us.
Very nice.
There you go. I'm excited for that. Pelham with a 70, with a lot to a little win over Prospect Mountain. I was a little, a bit of a smart aleck on Twitter last night. Somebody from Pelham, I think it was Ryan Frank's dad, tweeted out, Pelham's playing Fall Mountain tonight. And then he tweeted, whoops, I mean Prospect Mountain. And I responded, it doesn't really matter. It won't matter.
Kyle Frank, the only Frank still playing for Pelham, by the way.
74. I got a lot of kids to cover. Sorry. 70-40 win, Prospect Mountain. And Pelham, of course, is your number 1 seed. We'll get to that later in the show. Sanborn 57-54 over Conant.
Yeah, when I saw that score on Twitter last night, I was like, what?
Yeah.
First of all, I was like, why the heck are they playing Sanborn? I was still thinking Sanborn was in Division 2.
I was going to say, tell everybody the truth. You're like, why are they playing a D2 team? I'm like, dude, they're in D3. They've been in D3 for like 2 years. So Eric Saucer and Conant, they go down 57-54. They look like they're the 3 seed, but I'm going to let Dave Chase figure that out. They were missing a couple of kids last night. And then finally, Raymond with a 68-47 win for Summersworth. Shout out to Kobe, I don't know if it's Malo or Malo, like how you say Kobe Malo, the center for Raymond. I get all the stats from their coach, Rich Wingett. He's now over 20 points a game. He's had a terrific year for them at center spot. For them, he's been terrific. So there's your score. And, of course, D4 was off last night. We're going to get into bracketology with Sam Natty coming up.
All right, well, let's get to a break now. We'll come in with Sam Natty from Lisbon. Did Lisbon make the tournament? Is he naming his team one of those 16 in D4? You'll find out next as the New Hampshire High School Hoop Show continues. News Radio 610 and 96.7.
From Manchester West to Winnicott, Central to Somersworth, and Portsmouth to Plymouth, this is the New Hampshire High School Hoop Show on News Radio 610 and 96.7.
Getting it real technical here, we probably should have used like a song with the word 16 in it because there's 16 teams that making it into the tournament. Not 17, but in this case, it works just the same. We'll bring on our bracketologist for Division 4, making his record third appearance on the program, the New Hampshire High School Hoop Show this year, Sam Natty from Lisbon. The Panthers, you guys are on the outside looking in, so one of 4 teams not making it. But you're still kind enough to break it down for us, Coach. We appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
So, Coach, you don't have it as hard as our next guest, Dave Chase from Division 3, where he's got to break down a 6-way tie for third place on down in that division. A little bit simpler for you. So we'll kind of let you have it and take the floor, so to speak, and tell us who's playing who and who's got what for seeds.
All right. Littleton ends up as the 1 seed. They're going to play Hinsdale. They beat White Mountain Regional twice, so their rating's a little bit higher. Derryfield is number 2. The next game on the bracket, Woodsville is the 8 seed. Moultonborough is the 9 seed.
So that's a rematch. Last year, Woodsville went to Moultonborough as the 8-9 game. This year, Moultonborough goes to Woodsville as the 8-9.
Yeah, they seem to have played a lot in the playoffs the last few years.
Yeah, this is like the third or the fourth time we were talking about that. Yeah, that they've kind of matched up with each other, yeah.
Yeah, that would be a pretty good game, too, in Woodsville.
Yeah.
Next, Wilton's going to be the 4 seed. This is the only one that I'm a little nervous about because they went to 3 tiebreakers, but with Wilton and Colebrook both beat 9 tournament teams, played 12 tournament games, and then you get into the quality of wins, which was harder than most math that I had to do in college. So to the best of my calculations, Wilton is the 4 seed. I'm pretty confident in that because their win over Derryfield gives them more quality wins than Colebrook had.
So Colebrook played White Mountains, who's a D3 team, one of the worst D3 teams, let's just say it, and they went 1-1 against them. Wilton played Messinic, which is one of the better, a very good Division 3 team, and went 1-1. So kind of like the eyeball test would tell you that Wilton deserves to win that tiebreaker, and you're saying that that's the way it breaks. Sam, let me ask you this. What happens if Buddy Trash drives to Concord and slams his fist on the desk? Will they just give him the 4 seed? Because he's sort of a legend. Will he do that? Can he strong-arm that?
Honestly.
Can you answer that on the record, please?
Maybe. I think Buddy probably would have some sway with what he wants.
Yeah, I would guess so. So
we have the top one. I think the top 4 are right. I think those are the best 4 teams in the division. So, I think Colebrook's pretty good, but I agree with you that Wilton, I think, is at least a spot ahead of them. The 5-12 game is Colebrook and Newt. Newt's got to drive all the way up to the border.
Yeah.
It'll be a long ride. The bottom half of the bracket, Derryfield is 2, Linwood is 15, and another rematch from last year.
Yeah, that was one that got ugly in a hurry. I think there were Derryfield parents that couldn't remember who they played in the first round, so we'll see if Linwood can make it more memorable this year.
For the North Country, but it may not be different.
And we have another long drive repeat from last year in the first round.
Oh, yes, we do. And there's another one coming. 7, Portsmouth Christian is going to play Newmarket. That one will be interesting.
That is the game that we are going to cover on video. One of the games we're going to cover. Justin McIsaac is going to be there doing it on the radio, so we're going to have coverage of that game, Portsmouth Christian against Newmarket.
Yeah, these are all Tuesday, right?
10 game. I think that's a pick 'em. And both teams are pretty equal.
And Sam, these are all Tuesday nights, the prelim games.
Yes, Tuesday night, 7:00 at the home of the higher seed.
Okay.
3:14 is Epping and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Pittsburgh, a nice little drive down 93 for about 4.5 hours.
What's an 8-hour bus ride amongst friends, really?
Yeah, that's going to be long. They're not going to get home until 1 o'clock in the morning. That's a long drive.
And they're very likely not going to be happy when they get home or when they get back on that bus. I think Epping. So we're looking at, if things play out, we don't want to start eliminating people here on a bracketology show, but so you're looking at if if things held serve, you're looking at Littleton with a rematch against Woodsville, or they're going to play Moultonborough. That's an 8-9 game, so that's a toss-up game. You're looking at Derryfield against a Portsmouth Christian or a Newmarket, which I think is a toss-up game as well. And then things get really interesting. I think the most interesting game, without question. Did you already mention this, Groveton Sunapee?
No, I was saving that.
I just blew it for you. All right, go ahead.
Number 6 is Groveton, and Sunapee is going up there in what I think might be the best game in the playoffs in any division this year.
Ed Tenney would never say it, but I think they wanted that game. I
think they have some matchup problems for Groveton. I think Groveton's pretty good defensively. I don't think Sunapee's going to turn it over a ton. And I think Chappelle and Tenney can win a playoff game on their own. They can which in Division 4 you can do it. You can outscore teams. It's not like we're the Steve Nash Suns around here, but they can score 60 apiece, and that'll be enough to win a playoff game.
No, but you're right. They rely. Mark Collins' teams rely. They struggle offensively, as we saw when they played Colebrook. At the end of that game, they needed a basket against Colebrook. Colebrook went man, and they couldn't get a shot off for 50 seconds. They literally couldn't get a shot. The thing that Groveton lives off is turnovers, and Matt Tenney is not going to turn the ball over very much.
Yeah, and
he's
that's
so
why
good.
I think it's interesting because Groveton, like I said, struggles to score. Sunapee doesn't play a ton of defense this year, so Groveton's going to have some opportunities. But as they play faster, their defense opens up a little bit. So there's a whole lot of things that could happen with that one.
So, Sam, just so I got this straight, I'm trying to fill in the blanks here. Littleton 1, Derryfield 2, Epping 3. Wilton Lineborough 4, Colebrook 5, Groveton 6. Portsmouth Christian 7, Woodsville 8, Moultonborough 9. Tell me if I'm getting
correct,
any of these
far.
wrong.
Yep.
Newmarket 10.
Yep.
Sunapee 11.
Yep.
Newt 12.
Yep.
Profile 13.
Yep.
Canaan Pittsburgh 14.
Yep.
Linwood 15. Hinsdale 16.
That's correct.
And Lisbon, had you had a couple more games,
We are solidly in the 17th spot.
you win that tiebreaker against Gorham, also 2-16.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that the play-in game?
I was looking at it. Well, I think we would have had to get a couple of more because I didn't realize how complicated those tiebreakers are for the NHIAA. I can see why they don't get the brackets out until the day before tournament games because it can take a while. I pity the guys that have to do Division 3.
When was the last D4 game? I mean, was this thing over Wednesday?
I think Thursday night.
Oh, Thursday.
That was I think we played on the last night. I don't think any were rescheduled to last night, but usually, especially this year with all the school cancellations, usually you have. I think a couple of years ago we had games going until Saturday, so we got done early this year, so everything should be done by 8:00 Monday morning.
Can Profile compete with Wilton on the road?
I think they can play defense enough to make it a game. I don't know if they can score enough points with them. I think Wilton, not to look too far down the road, but I think they're going to be the team to beat because they have the best player of the teams that I think are going to get to the semis. So it's if they can slow down Litz, they have a chance because Wilton's got 2 or 3 other kids that can play, but Litz is going to be what makes them go. And if they can hold him to 10 or 15, maybe they have a chance, but I think they get their work cut out for them.
So I think the 2 games that jump out to me, obviously, are Woodsville-Moultonborough. I mean, that's a game that went to the wire last year. Jared Bemis, I was actually able to update his statistics on NH Sports page. He's averaging right around 19 points a game. He's been terrific. So that's a rematch of a first-round game last year. And again, Woodsville beat Littleton at Littleton earlier this season. Now, Littleton came back and beat them at Woodsville about 2 weeks ago. But that would be a very interesting quarterfinal game. That's a North Country game where, remember last year you went to that Groveton-Littleton game where you said you and Nicole got there like an hour before the game. You could barely get in the gym. Yeah. It's going to be one of those deals again if they play.
If you've never been to Woodsville, it's the Manchester West of the North Country. And Woodsville, I think you could safely say, cost themselves a couple games. They probably could have been a 14-win team. So, that's a tough matchup as a 9 seed going into Woodsville.
Yeah.
Moultonborough is turnover prone a little bit. Woodsville can do the same thing. I think you're going to be looking at a classic North Country rock fight. I don't think it's going to be that high scoring. I think it'll probably be pretty ugly because it's a small floor, dark in there. So I'm not sure that it'll get on ESPN Classic, but I'm sure it'll be entertaining.
Last question. Do the kids from Newt understand that there's a 15-foot-tall Mohawk Indian on the wall at Colebrook High School when they walk in, and should they be mentally prepared for that?
I think the combination of the 15-foot tall Mohawk and the 5'8" guy standing on the other side,
eating popcorn,
probably has a 15-point advantage.
Hey, Sam, thanks so much. So I'm just going to run down the matchups as you see them. These are not official NHI AA tournament pairings, but we trust Sam. We believe in him.
I'm previewing them, so I hope they're right.
And we usually get them right, all right? But
if anybody's going to get them wrong, it's going to be me. I'm just forewarning you with that.
All right, well, here's the way Sam sees it. Littleton, Hinsdale, Derryfield, Linwood, the first team, the home team in all of these. Epping, Kane, and Pittsburgh.
Real quick, Sean Young said that game's going to be at 6 o'clock, by the way. Kane and Pittsburgh and Epping.
On Tuesday, 6
o'clock.
p.m.
Oh, good. Pittsburgh will be back at midnight.
There you go.
All right, Wilton, Lineborough profile. We got Colebrook, Newt, Groveton, Sunapee, PCA, Newmarket, Woodsville, Moultonborough. What game can I go cover? I mean, I'm not driving up to the north. Sam, I love you, but I'm not driving up there. At least I don't think so right now. But is there a game you can sell me on that I should go to?
I think Newmarket will be easy for you to get to, and I think that'll be.
Unfortunately, Justin's going to that game. So I need another game besides that game because that game is a real good game.
You could go to PCA. Profile Wilton.
Yeah, come on up, Pete.
Is it worth it?
You're due for a trip up here.
Is it worth it? And
go to the Manchester West of the North Country.
I would consider it, Coach. If you could, give me a case to make a little drive on Tuesday, maybe I would do it. But
it's not that bad.
I might be like, Derryfield, Linwood. Probably not going to be worth my time.
You better get there early.
5 minutes from my house, but not going to be worth my time.
No.
I wouldn't mind seeing Littleton play because I don't know that I'm going to get to see him play.
Actually, wait for the second round.
In the quarterfinals, I'll be able to cover a D4 game, so I might sit this one out, like you said, Dave.
There will be some good quarterfinal games.
Oh yeah,
I think so.
And
I think so.
And Sam and I are going to have coverage the Monday night Final Four up at Plymouth. Sam and I back for our award-winning. No one gave us an award.
I've been studying tape.
Here we go.
Of the color guys for the last 2 weeks. I'm ready.
Yeah, get ready. We'll be in the crowd at Plymouth calling that one on the Final Four. So we're back. And then of course we're going to have all the championship games, all the Final Four games covered on NA Sports Page. We're doing all 20 tournament games we're doing.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Sam, thanks so much, and we'll see you come tournament time.
Wait, you forgot to ask him the weather.
Oh, what's the temperature up there in Landoff?
It's not as hot as it is in Guilford.
Boom! Drop mic, walk off stage.
Thanks, Sam.
See ya.
Sam Natty breaking it down in Division 4. We'll go back over these towards the end of the show. Timeout now. Dave Chase. God help you. You got a 6-way tie that you got to try and figure out tiebreakers for. And your team is just one game out of that mix. So he could have made it even worse and had a 7-way tie. We'll get Dave Chase from Hopkinton to break down the Division 3 bracket. Good luck to you. New Hampshire High School Hoop Show, News Radio 610 and 96.7.
Welcome back to the best local coverage of New Hampshire High School basketball. The New Hampshire High School Hoop Show on News Radio 610 and 96.7.
It is the New Hampshire High School Hoop Show. We do it live on the radio during the season. 2 fine stations here in New Hampshire. News Radio 610 in and around Manchester. You can get us up where our next guest comes from, Hopkinton. Also got the Seacoast Signal 96.7, News Radio 96.7 FM, and then anywhere, even in the North Country, like Sam Natty from Landoff, New Hampshire, could listen to us on iHeartRadio. And we'll bring in now our Division 3 bracketologist who's got his work cut out for him. Seems like he always is in this position at this time of year. Dave Chase from Hopkinton. Dave, good morning. And were you up all night trying to figure this thing out? Because it's crazy. You got a 6-way tie right at number 3 and working your way down. So we wish you the best of luck with this.
Well, thank you very much for the invite.
And you're probably regretting that you accepted it again. All right, so what we know in Division 3 at the top, we know Pelham is number 1. They finished the regular season unbeaten, wrapped it up with a 30-point win last night, 18-0. You got Berlin victorious last night as well to save you a little bit of extra work. They're 15-3. They're the number 2 seed. Then you got Conant, Campbell, Guilford, Messinic, Newport, Winnisquam, all tied at 14-14. How the heck did you figure that one out?
Well, I don't know if I did. So we may just have to wait till Monday morning to figure it all out. But the way I looked at it was Conant would get number 3. because they had one more index point than the rest of those guys beat Sunbelt. So Pelham, Berlin, Conant. And then that's where it really gets gray, because when you go onto the NHI site that has all the tiebreakers, the piece that's really bothering everybody, we really can't figure out when and where to drop the last team tied in the 20th spot. With Sanborn upset in Conant last night, it made Kearsarge, Sanborn, and Fall Mountain all have 6 wins. So when you start going to the tournament wins, Kearsarge was 3-10, Sanborn was 3-12, and Fall Mountain was 1-11. So Fall Mountain would be out. The question that we all have is, when you since all these schools in the tie with the 4 losses not play each other, you go to the tiebreaker number 2. Rated against NHI AA divisional opponents selected for the tournament, including all teams involved in the tie for the last position. Period. So my interpretation for that would be, you would count the quality points for all those wins, top of each team in the top 21. Kevin Rhines doesn't want to finish 5th, so he says that doesn't work that way. He wants Fall Mountain thrown out, so none of those points would count for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we are.
Okay.
If we go the way I read it, I would say it goes Newport 4, because they were 8-3 against tournament teams, and the Scenic was 8-3 against tournament teams. I had them as 5th only because Newport beat them head-to-head.
I got an email last night from somebody who did this, and they have it like Newport 8. So this is all. What they had was Winnisquam 4, Campbell 5, Guilford 6, Messinic 7, Newport 8. So I think we're all.
That's why you're going to have craziness come Monday.
Yeah.
So I had Newport 4, Scenic 5, Campbell 6, Winnisquam 7, and Guilford 8.
Oh, I don't like that one, Dave.
And the reason why those are all that way was because I had it, as I said, quality wins, or tournament wins, with 8-3 for Newport, which is 727. Same thing for Messinic, but Newport beat Messinic, so they would take that spot. Campbell was 10-4, which is a 714, and Winnisquam was 10-4, which was a 714. Campbell beat Winnisquam, so they would go ahead of them. Guilford was 9-4 against tournament teams at 692. So that's how I figured it out. Now, if you drop Fall Mountain, like Rhines is saying, then I would still have Newport 4. Campbell would go up to 5. Messinic would drop to 6. I still have Winnisquam at 7 and Guilford 8. And the only other thing that turns things around is you go down to the 3rd tiebreaker and starts talking about wins against tournament opponents, and you have to then calculate all of that stuff, and then it would switch it around, and Newport would go all the way down to 8. The Messinic would be 4.
I feel like I've done something really terrible to Dave right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like Goodwill Hunting when he goes to the chalkboard in the hallway.
For me, it was pretty interesting. I knew I was going to be in 9th place when I got on the bus last night. So
yeah.
it just mattered, like, who are we going to play?
So, Dave, do you agree with this? I got Hopkinton 9. You tell me if you disagree. Hopkinton 9, Farmington 10, Franklin 11. I think they're solid there. Mascoma 12, Raymond 13, Bow 14, Stevens 15, Laconia 16. Does that sound right?
You have the easy part there. That's exactly how I have it, yeah.
God, I'm so good at this.
Dave, okay. We know Hopkinton 9, so Dave's team's playing, a potential Guilford Golden Eagles team. How do you like that one in the first round, Dave? And then you got who? You said Raymond 13, Dave?
I got, so this is what I have.
Hopkinton, Farmington, Franklin, Mascoma, Raymond. 14 is Bow, 15 is Stevens, 16 is Laconia, 17 is Prospect, 18 is Interlakes, 19 is Kearsarge, 20 is Sanborn.
Yeah, that's what I have.
19
And so that would be first-round games. You'd have Raymond playing Sanborn, Bow playing Kearsarge, Stevens playing Interlakes, Laconia playing Prospect.
So it's 13 against the 20, 14 against the 19, 15 against the 17, and then, or whatever, 15 against the 18, and 16 and 17 play each other.
You know, it's like we were talking on the way home last night with my assistant there, Vince Judd. You know, this is the mess you end up with when you have 27 teams in the division. I mean, you end up with all these, you know, there's no parity in the schedule, really, so everybody's playing all over the place. So you end up with, look at this, I mean, take Pelham out and put them back up in Division II, and now you have Berlin, 15-3, all the way down to, say, Mascoma in the 12th spot at 11-7, or you go up to us, we're 13-5. We're 13-5. We lost at Conant by 3, and we lost to Campbell by 2 in overtime. So we're 5 points away, or 6 points away from, you know, being in the third seed. And then, you know, when you have 27 teams and everybody's going in all different directions, this is what you end up with, I guess. So it should be a pretty good tournament.
When is those first games, the first four, Tuesday, if you will? Tuesday. And then Thursday for the second round, is that what it's called?
Called that would be called the preliminaries, yeah. These are the play-ins, the first one. The prelims will be on Thursday, and then the quarters would go after that. So basically, the play-ins are getting the Final Four seed.
And Dave, from your experience, what time would you expect the NHIAA to have this out? Like 9?
Well, I would expect them by 9, probably. They're probably starting to work on it as we speak, I guess. But,
are you on the committee, Dave? Are you on the basketball?
No, I'm not on the committee. I just I try to keep track of what's going on so we can get out and see who we may need to see in the tournament. You know, that's the other problem. We go play everybody on the same night. How do you get to see Guilford if I play the same night that they do every night?
Guilford's on ESPN all the time. They the thing that I don't understand, and I know I do understand that they don't take it into account. But Newport won 4 games against Division IV teams, so that's, you know what I mean. And I don't understand why that doesn't count against them. But not that Newport isn't a very good team, but they beat Hinsdale twice and Sunapee twice, so I don't know how that counts just as much as D3 wins.
Well, you know, exactly. And when I used to coach in Vermont, you know, they used the heel system. Now, hey, fine for you know, geography, just being able to do gas and stuff for your district. If you played a smaller school, there was no problem. You just didn't get as many quality points. So you got 3 points for beating a smaller school. You got 4 points for beating a school your own size, and then you got 5 points if you beat a team that was in the division above you. I see, you know, you can look at this, not just Newport, but Conant, Berlin, Scenic, they're all getting, I don't think this year, but they're all getting a bonus point for beating a Conval or beating Kennett or whatever, but they don't get minus points or 3 points when they only beat a Division 4 school, you know what I mean? So you would think that if you're going to get a plus for beating, you know, bigger school, you should not get as many points for beating a smaller school. It just doesn't make sense.
So we're up against a break. So before I let you go, Dave, and thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate this. Can you one more time give us the top 8? I want to write this down because
the way
I think you're right.
I don't know if I have this right, but I have Pelham 1, Berlin 2, Conant 3, Newport 4, Messinic 5, Campbell 6, Winnisquam 7, and Guilford 8. That's how I see it. Now, that doesn't mean I'm right.
Well, we'll see what happens. And, Dave, we really appreciate it. Any ETA on the first outdoor baseball practice at Hopkinton? Because I don't think it's going to be for a while, Coach.
Oh, we're out there snowblowing now.
And my son will not take off that Hopkinton Hawks baseball hat. He says it makes him feel like summer. So, and he tells people he's on your team. So please pencil him in the lineup someplace.
If he can hit, we'll put him in there.
He's only 7, but he's got a pretty good stroke, and he's a lefty batter. Appreciate the time, Dave. We'll see you come tournament time.
Hey, let's see what happens. Maybe we'll get to see you guys up in Guilford.
All right. Thanks a lot. Have a good one. Dave Chase, I mean, man, poor guy. I don't envy him having to do that. And we'll see what happens when it comes out. Again, those are unofficial pairings, but he has gone through all those tie-breaking procedures, and it affects everything. So it'll be interesting to see how this thing shakes out. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll wrap up the show. The New Hampshire High School Hoop Show, News Radio 610 and 96.7.
Your High School Hoop Show with Pete Terrier and Dave Haley on News Radio 610 and 96.7.
Final couple of minutes of the program. Just want to talk about Portsmouth losing last night on the road at Wyndham after surviving as an unbeaten team against Bishop Brady the other night in a overtime classic game that myself and John Kesty were at. We filmed. We had the video highlights of that game. It was a tremendous game. And I just came away so impressed with Portsmouth. I mean, they just got a really good, solid basketball team, and they impressed me. Of course, the mother of all trap games last night, having to go to a tough Wyndham gymnasium, face that Jaguars team, was a pretty good basketball team. So credit to Portsmouth for keeping it alive as long as they could. Wyndham knocked them off, so they don't have to worry about that unbeaten thing anymore. And I honestly think that if it doesn't hurt your standings, it really doesn't hurt you. It might help you more than hurt you, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it helps, but they play Kingswood and Oyster River to finish the season. They're not going to lose to either one of those teams. So, Jordan Bell, I think, had 30 last night.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm expecting him to do. I think great players like him decide on certain nights, like, okay, I need to take over. And, Brendan Johnson was the guy he was tremendous for them in that game, and he's been tremendous all season long. I look for Jordan to have kind of one of those nights in the tournament where he kind of puts him on his back for a quarter at a time because he, as Jim Mulvey said in the postgame, Brendan Johnson was tremendous, but he's getting set up. He's wide open because Jordan Bell is setting him up. And Jordan Bell can dish to either side of the floor. A lot of point guards can't do that.
The Division II Final Four could be tremendous. All the Final Fours could be tremendous. In Division I, shout out to Londonderry for surviving Memorial.
Yeah.
Everybody talking about Memorial, and now they got the whole team back, and Trayvon Mon and Kabongo and Wade Gopp. All those guys are there to go with the other guys that have developed while those other guys were out missing. Londonderry gets a shot in the final seconds by Mark Corey on Tuesday night. I wish I was at that game instead of the stinker that I saw Pelham Campbell. But Mark Corey with the game-winning basket. Londonderry still undefeated, and they'll probably finish that way, although I think they got Spalding before the end of the season next week at some point, Londonderry.
You got to see John Langlois with a megaphone, so I think that
was the highlight. To me, going to that Campbell game, John Langlois, the coach of the Campbell Cougars, who is a great coach, all right, very, very good coach. He does the starting lineups. And talk about embellishment. All right, Kyle Manning, who's the quarterback of the football team, he's like 6'5", 230 pounds. Kyle Manning. I'm like, I took a double take. I'm like, Kyle Manning.
You're like, is Danny Manning coming out?
Yeah, this ain't Danny Manning. This is Kyle Manning. And DeBenedetto, who is like 5'6", if he's lucky.
Yeah.
6'2" point guard. He was hilarious. If you want to check out something funny, go to the website, check out the video highlights of Langlois doing the starting lineup before the game. That's all the time we have, Dave. Want to thank Dave Chase for breaking down Division III and probably breaking his neck trying to do it. Sam Natty for breaking down D4. We'll have all the coverage coming up. Once again, we appreciate the support for the website. Everybody who's donated, thank you.
Dave Chase
We're going to keep it going.
Yeah.
We're going to keep the fundraising efforts going right through the tournament. We appreciate it. Whatever you can do to help, even if it's just a couple of bucks. We're going to cover 20 tournament games. The gas mileage is going to be crazy on my car.
Very much.
Thanks for John Kesty, for you, Dave Haley, our producer, Jeremy Mahaney. My name's Pete Terrier. Enjoy the weekend, everybody.